Welcome to Positive People Progressing, episode number 6. My name is Marty Dickinson with HereNextYear.com and ProduceMyBook.com. I am also, where is it here? The author of this awesome book called Lions Always Win, How to Spot What You Want in Business and Life and Get It Too. So the reason this whole series of interviews evolved was because of a statement in that book that I wrote. You become who you hang around. And that sentence resonated with me. It's just like, you are what you eat, right? And then in this crazy time of pandemics and civil unrest and everything else, I just thought there needed to be another place to go. I mean, there are places out there, there are virtual lives out there, but I just wanted to put one out there myself and interview people that I knew, people that are actual people, and they are progressing forward. And that's what I want to introduce today as my guest as well. So this is a weekly event. It's going to be turned into a podcast in the next couple of weeks. Very exciting time. We'll see what happens with that. And I'd like to introduce you to my guest, Gary Jazorski. And I have to just say Gary J. That's what we call him. If you can say Jezorski 3 times fast, you're in good shape. But welcome, Gary.
Hi, Marty. How are you?
Terrific. I'd like to just kind of give a little bit more detail about Gary. We've known each other for a long time, many years. I've been using the system that he runs called CloudNet 360 for, oh my gosh, probably 11 or 12 years now, maybe even longer than that. When one shopping cart was kind of stalemated at their development, I needed something else, and I looked all over the place. I tried Infusionsoft, I tried all these different products out there, and I finally went with Premium Web Cart. That's what it was back then. And so I've been along with that product as it's grown through lots of iterations and adding a CRM. And now I just use the thing to run my whole business almost. So it's really a powerful tool. And that's why I wanted to have Gary on today. And he identifies himself as a serial business creator with 17 years experience, starting, operating, growing, selling businesses, and occasionally, scraping the failures off the floor. We've all had those too, but that's how you learn. He is currently do I call you the official development director for CloudNet 360? Is that what we're going for?
I guess you can.
Okay. And a better way to describe CloudNet 360 is a sales automation system for small businesses. And he also has a company called Soccer Pro that's been very interesting. I've been watching that grow. So we'll talk about Soccer Pro a little bit too. And it's a dedicated suite for soccer clubs. And then there's another one called Soccer Labs that we'll talk about. So are you like a professional soccer player or something?
I always tell the kids that I was on the last U.S. men's team that won the World Cup.
Right.
The older kids all figure it out pretty quick. The young kids, they're like, oh.
Well, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to, anybody who knows me.
Marty, one correction though. You said 17 years, which made me much younger than I am. It was 17 businesses. So 17 businesses, not 17 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So that's really how the whole Premium Web Cart / CloudNet 360 came about. Is we were starting running these businesses and needed the tools. We were also a one shopping cart user, but then one shopping cart was lacking too much. Then we would add this module in, and then we added the next module, and then we added the next module. And pretty soon we had one shopping cart surrounded with all of our custom modules, except for the shopping cart itself. So that was actually one of the last things that we added was the shopping cart, because we had that with one shopping cart and then we wrapped around it. And I'll tell you one quick story with one shopping cart. We were one of the first ones to create an online membership system because we were selling a video product through, e-commerce video product, info product. And we didn't want to do all the discs and do all the mailing and all that garbage. So we came up with a membership site. But there was no actual membership site at the time. So what we did was we took the one shopping cart coupon system and we used that form field and we used the coupon. And then when people would put in that coupon, it would forward them onto our quote unquote membership site, which was nothing more than a web page with an obscure URL so no one could find it until they got access through the coupon. Of course, that didn't work super well, because every time we had to have someone quit or leave, if we wanted to ever, eliminate their passcode, we would have to change everybody's passcode. But then we would just send out an email saying, hey, we changed your passcode to, like to every 30-day security updates, whatever. Sure. But everyone's passcode was exactly the same. So if anyone had it, everyone had it. But the thing is, you can spend a lot of time and a lot of effort creating a custom membership site, which took over 1.5 years for us to finally get it done. But that was 1.5 years of us doing business and selling a whole bunch of products. So really the key is, don't try to get it perfect before you start. Get started and then figure out what you need from there. We learned a lot to create the membership site by having a pseudo fake membership site. So, that's really a big takeaway. I guess I threw something in big right at the start.
Yeah, well, that's good.
You are starting or running a business and you are screwing around trying to get everything right, trying to make your website perfect, trying to get your funnels perfect, trying to get all your email content, created so that when they enter your funnel, you've got this whole thing laid out. You're making a massive mistake and you're probably going to fail. And what I want you to do is go out there, and if you're going to create an email, let's say a sales funnel with a bunch of emails in it, all you need is one. That's the first one you need, because that's the first one you're going to send. That's all you need. Until you get a customer into that funnel, why do you need more? You don't, because you have to get a customer in before they see the first one. Until they see the first one, they don't know how many you have after that.
Yeah.
So get really chopping and just start selling.
So what is the allure that I see that so many people are trying to sell their funnel building services, and they'll say, for $8,000, we will build a 20-step funnel for you, and it is assured to make you $1 million. In 2 weeks, and you won't have to do any work. All you have to do is start a bunch of Facebook ads and drive to the funnel, and the funnel will do all the work for you. What is wrong with that statement?
Well, the obvious one is always, if they could do it for you, why wouldn't they do it for themselves? And there's nothing wrong with using templates. In fact, I encourage it. I mean, why start, let's say, a WordPress site or any website without a template? I mean, just get a template, put in your decoration. It's like a custom house versus let's call it a builder's house, like a spec house. That house is only custom for the first guy that customized it. After that, it's a spec house. Then it comes down to just how you decorate it. So there's nothing wrong with using those templates. It's just that people have to understand that's just your starting point, and that's not a business. That's a template for you to create your business, but it's not the business. And when people represent them as the actual business, that's when you need to really step back, protect your wallet, and know that you are not going to make any money. All right. There's nothing wrong with selling as an affiliate. That's not a bad way to go. There's nothing wrong with selling other people's product and using drop shipping. That's not a bad way to go. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. Just don't anticipate that you can give someone 1,000, 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, whatever that number is, and have them create a successful business for you that is turnkey, that you do nothing, they do everything, and they just write you a check. And it's the most ridiculous thing. It's just not possible. Who would ever do that? Sure. Right? Even these, I see these ads now on Facebook all the time for for Amazon automation, that they'll build you an Amazon automated store, and they'll find the products for you. They'll drop ship them for you. They'll create the ads for you. They'll create the store for you. And all you have to do is own it. They'll take maybe a small percentage of the profits, and then you get the rest.
Oh, they've been doing that for years. I mean, companies have come through Denver that have had these seminars where you go there for 2 hours, they give you some hors d'oeuvres and everything, and then they want you to buy into some store that they'll create for you, and you pick the products, and it's all just total turnkey. And where are those today? I mean, I don't ever remember even landing on one of those stores when I
No.
go out trying to search for something, let alone actually be able to find the main company that was building those stores because they're banned from Google. And I mean,
Right.
yeah, that's old news. And yeah, we're doing the same thing we always do. When Gary and I get on the phone, we could talk for 4 or 5 hours. We don't need a script. We just start talking and we go in all these different directions. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm going to make an attempt to bring this back to a central focus on a couple of things for people just watching this for the first time. They don't have any idea who Gary J is. They've never heard of CloudNet 360, and it's really not about the product itself today, but it is about the angle that you bring to the conversation, because there's not many people that build a web tool from scratch years and years and years ago and use it to build their own business and let
Right.
that tool evolve. So I really want everybody to pay attention to this portion of the session today, because I'm going to ask a very important question. And I know you're going to offer a very different angle than probably anybody else out there, because you not only have been doing this for so long with all these web-based tools and BizOps and everything, but at the same time, you get to see what your own customers are doing and what's working for them and what's not working for them.
Right.
So my first question for you is, I just want to be in a real general sense, first of all, why is today, with all the things that we have going on around us with, pandemics and civil unrest, election year, all that stuff, why is today, in your mind anyway, still the best time to be a business owner?
Well, the opportunities are always immense if you just open your eyes and look for them. And I'll tell you, the way that I failed at businesses, remember we talked about 17 and some failed, some succeeded. The ones I've always failed at are the ones that I've taken on too much. I've had too many businesses running. And, there's that whole multiple streams of income philosophy. That's really not a smart way to go. You end up basically doing a bunch of things wrong, halfway, partway, and you never really get that execution going, which is necessary for a successful business. So there's nothing but opportunity out there if you just go out there and say, well, I want to solve one problem, and then you solve that problem and you really focus and hone in on that problem. Okay. Now, the other thing that's happening, if we're going to bring it into the internet, right, versus brick and mortar. And I am not someone that is against brick and mortar stores. I am still old school. I like touching things. I like feeling things. I like going out shopping. But the reality is I haven't gone shopping. I haven't been buying in the stores. People aren't buying in the stores as much. The numbers have skyrocketed. I mean, it's like $107 billion of additional e-commerce sales just from COVID. And what ends up happening is these habits, people are creatures of habits. I'm a creature of habit. We're all creatures of habit as humans. And once they develop a habit, they continue on with that habit. So these people that are not going to the stores anymore, they're not going to start going to the stores again because they're used to buying online. They're like, well, that worked out. Okay, that's fine. That's great. I don't need to go to the store. So those habits are changing, and they're not going to change back anytime soon, because it takes 7 times for someone to do something habitually, and it becomes a habit that they maintain. When they have been cooped up in their house and they're doing all this online shopping, online purchasing, and these things are just showing up on their doorstep and they're getting a flavor for how convenient that is, they're not going to go back. They're not going to make that run to the store for something they can just go click, 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 use their cell phone, whatever it is, and it magically appears on their doorstep. They're not going to change those habits. Now, is brick and mortar dead? No, I don't believe that. I think there's always going to be the opportunity for hybrid. I mean, if you have a brick and mortar store, don't abandon it. Maybe your customer base is coming in through your brick and mortar store, but you better have a really strong way to follow up with them. And if you think about your experience with brick and mortar, most of them don't. Most of them will give you a product and then you disappear until you walk through the doors again. And these small businesses, they need to get a little smarter on taking that customer acquisition of me walking through the door and then following up with me through some sort of sales funnel that is either sending me snail mail or email or text messages or some means to get me back in the store. Don't let me forget about it. Don't let me create a habit of going to some other place, some other store other than theirs. Right. So the opportunities, they just keep growing. I'm trying to think. Who was that? Marty, you're a musician, but who was that musician that said all the chords have been taken? We will never develop any new music. I think it was back in the 60s. Someone said that.
The Who that said that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure which member of the band said it, but I know that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Who. If you're crazy if you make any song with more than 4 chords.
Yeah. And now you look and there's more music today than ever. So that was 60 years ago. They said that there would not be the ability to create new music, but everyone's creating music constantly. And it's the same thing with e-commerce. Right. You can just go out there and create businesses, and there's always new products, new opportunity. And there's the ability to take old products and recycle them. And actually, if we have some time, I'll disclose a tip that I actually was only going to keep in one of my products that I was creating, Simple Selling Secrets. But that was one of those that I started, and frankly, I abandoned it because I just got overwhelmed with too many things. And it's right back to what I was saying: when you do too much.
Well, let's hold on to that secret tip. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to hold on to that.
Don't let me leave you before you reveal that secret tip. It could mean a life change to somebody out there. Right. So I just saw Peter Brissett came on, and thanks for being with us, Peter. I want to acknowledge people as they come on. Make sure to add a question. I'll see it, and I'll ask Gary for any question that comes on. This is a great time for that. And I just wanted to suggest too, as you're going through your description about brick and mortar companies and buying behavior, I heard a really interesting suggestion from somebody. It was just last week, and he's a speaker, and he was suggesting that you go buy a bunch of equipment to set up your studio so you can do virtual live stuff. And he said, I buy everything in twos. He said, I go to Amazon or wherever it is, and I buy 2 microphones. I buy 2 webcams. I buy 2 sets of cords. I buy 2 lighting systems, and I send one back. Now, how many times have you gone to Best Buy or to the mall, and you've bought 2 of everything, and you've brought it all home, and you bring 1 back to return? We never did that.
No.
That is a complete change in buyer behavior. So I want to ask you what I kind of want to flip the table now, and I want to ask you what kind of trend you're seeing about how people are spending money. What kind of things are people, if I was to start a business right now, I'd want to be in a business where people are actually spending the money, not just like yesteryear where we were able to just start things because we were really good at playing guitar or something. Wrong hand. Guitar, and so we start a music business. Well, no. Now you have to look at where people are actually spending money, and they have to be willing to spend the money that they have in order for your business to be successful. So based on all this history you have with your 17 companies.
I like 17 years. It makes me younger.
And with the growth of premium web card, building into CloudNet 360, everything you're doing with Soccer Labs, what are you seeing as the places to be for new business owners right now?
Sure. Well, actually, I just did one picking on myself about the Soccer Labs business. And I posted that video a couple days ago. What my whole point in that video is that today the customer acquisition cost is high. All right. Going out, finding the customer is high. Frankly, it's always been high. The internet pushed it down really cheap for a while, but now it's back up. Everything equalizes, right? So now the customer acquisition is high. So how do you make money? If you're just selling a one-off product, you're probably going to be losing money on every sale that you're making. And maybe you can back end them in a sales funnel and make some money that way. That's okay. But my favorite type of business right now is where you are selling a product that gets onto a subscription that preferably is consumable, obviously a product people like, otherwise they end their subscription. But I want to sell a product that is subscription-based, recurring revenue, so that when I get that customer, I maybe lose money on the front end, but after 2 or 3 shipments, I make it up. And again, something that's consumable so that they're actually using it. You don't want to just have something maybe like a gym membership where they say, oh, I'm not even using it, right? So let me give you an example what I mean. And then also this rolls into how I think you have to provide it, because the days of, and this is what's not working, okay? What's not working is where people sell components, pieces, right? You have to sell the solution with those pieces put together for them. So let me give you an example. Right now, there is a good product out there called CBD, very popular. Everyone's selling it. It's kind of the rage. You know, it works well for people. They like it. They consume it. They get on recurring billing. All that's good. But what you want to do with that is you have to flip it now, because now CBD is a component, right? It's an ingredient, whichever way you want to look at it. But and then people get it and you say, well, okay, you can use it for this, or you can use it for that, or if you can't sleep, do this. Well, that's the wrong way of doing it, because now you're making people work. You're making them think. You're selling them an ingredient. You're selling them flour, sugar, vanilla, and telling them to make brownies. They want a brownie mix. Okay, put it in the pan and cook it. Right now, your brownies are instant. It's the same thing I want you to do with your CBD business. Instead of going out and trying to sell the CBD ingredients as a tincture, as a gummy, or whatever, what I want you to do is package it all together into a solution, and then market it as that solution that just happens to have CBD in it. So if people have a problem, solve that problem. If they can't sleep, give them the components that they should consume in a way that they should consume them so that they can get to sleep at night. If they have arthritis pain, again, what do they need to solve that problem? Package it. Now, the reality is they could be the exact same package. Okay, the same thing that helps people sleep might be the same thing that helps them with their arthritis. It might be take a gummy in the morning, a gummy at night, take 3 drops of tincture under your tongue, 3 times a day. I don't know what that is. Okay, but package it up as a solution, sell it as a solution, market it as a solution, and then get them onto recurring revenue, because if they can't sleep, they can't sleep all the time. You solve the problem. They don't want that problem to be unsolved by stopping the subscription. If they have arthritis, they don't want that pain to come back. So get them into a product that they consume, that they want to continue to consume, sell them the solution, not the components, and it's a much better way of going to market today. So awesome. I threw a lot in there.
Hey, that's fine. That's what we're here for. A lot of information in a shorter amount of time. And of course, the whole idea is I'm introducing you to Gary so that you will be able to contact him in the future. And I mean, he's real easy to approach and talk to, and he would give you suggestions for sure after this call. Absolutely. So we will put together a little offer for that to happen. But I want to get this question in from Peter. He says, marketing seems to be harder now than in the past, and building an audience, getting more people on the email list is harder, getting people to watch this virtual live is harder. Yeah, I mean, Peter, we definitely see similarities. Getting discovery calls, all of that takes more time, volume to accomplish, it seems. He's asking if you have any ideas on how to help people take action faster.
I know that is challenging for everyone. I can tell you personally that we've gone full circle, where we used to be on YouTube, and then we got away from YouTube because it was so easy to get an audience on Facebook. It was so easy on social media. And we got away from that. And then what I started looking at is, with YouTube, it becomes like a library that keeps getting referenced and gets into the search index. And those videos keep increasing in viewership. Whereas social media, now that it's harder to get that widespread distribution, it's here today, gone tomorrow. So it's more of a constant churn. You have to constantly be putting out content. So like, for example, this one's on Facebook Live. It's going to be here for a while and then it's going to disappear. But when you load this up into YouTube, it's going to stay there for a while. So we still push Facebook. We're still on LinkedIn. We're still on, all those other social media, but we're putting a bigger focus back onto YouTube, and we're seeing good success with that. So our video counts have been steadily increasing, right? And it's what's happening now is we're seeing an acceleration of the increase. So if I were circling back, I'd say, look, things always come back around. Snail mail, if you can get that into your funnel, that's a good thing. Everyone opens up their mailbox. Not everyone's opening up email. Okay. Texting, those things are all good. So everything to me is good in a certain percentage, right? Email, texting, social media, YouTube. It's a lot to do, but you can recycle those things. But I would really encourage people to get back to YouTube. As Facebook has been difficult. And another thing that's worked really well for us is actually TikTok. So TikTok, really? If you have a flashy
the first person to tell me that. Interesting. Okay.
Oh,
what about TikTok has been helping you?
Yeah. So TikTok is a different beast, though. It's very, very snappy, right? And you've got to have videos that are very snappy. So, for example, the videos from Soccer Labs where the kids are training and kicking the ball in the ring of fire, those things are very showy. And we can get 160,000, 180,000 views off one little video. Take a 60-second video posted, boom, there's 160,000 views. Jeez, now, really? We've tried other things, trying to be a little bit more informational and received 300 views. So it really is, it's very...
Does TikTok really hit your target audience, or is it a bunch of 12-year-olds?
Well, again, that all depends. Gary Vee.
Trying to create a future market?
I think it'll work for many things. Gary Vee has done a very good job of promoting BizOp, I think. Okay. He seems to be posting on there a lot. I think it'll work. If you're into the whole BizOp, yes. If you're promoting, how to start a business, yes. If you have a product, though, okay. Now, I don't want to stick to BizOp because there's so many people out there marketing BizOp. It's a very difficult market. So there's a lot of easy markets, right, when you're selling a product. But if you have a product that you can demonstrate, that's what I'm getting at. For Soccer Pro, our software product, it's very difficult to get traction on TikTok. For Soccer Labs, because it's a physical product, it's very easy. So if you have a physical product, if you have something that you can show in a snappy way, quick, hard hitting, get to the point type of product, you'll get a lot of traction off that. If you have something that's gimmicky, it's something that's creative, something unique, you will get a lot of traction off TikTok. If you're trying to sell software, not so much, right? So it's very product specific.
Okay. So we're actually, half an hour goes so fast and we're almost getting to the end already. I think we're going to go just a couple of minutes over because I want to really get a couple of things in. And one of those is I haven't had anybody in this program yet talk about a CRM and the importance of it. And I thought, what better resource to go to than a guy that created one and created it in a certain way that you did. And so, I've used CRMs since the old days of Act and Goldmine, when you went online. And in the sales world, you have to have follow-ups and schedule phone calls and keep a history and a product history of what people do buy. And then when I started my own business, the whole idea is, well, why do I have this computer over here with this CRM that everybody's used for years, and then I have my business is actually happening on the internet?
Right.
Why can't they work together, the two of them? Why can't they both be web-based and have everything interact? And I just think if a person doesn't have that linkage between the products that are sold and their CRM in the same place, number one, they're really missing out on something big. But number two, they don't even understand what I'm talking about. They don't even recognize what the benefit of that would be. So I'd kind of like you to start there and tell me what in the world made you decide to put a CRM online? What was the whole benefit of doing that?
All right. So if you think about a large business CRM, most people hate them. Okay. And the reason they hate them is because the salespeople are out there running around, getting leads, making sales calls, getting design wins, all those different things. And they're doing their sales job. And then some CEO or manager director is saying, hey, look, I want to know what these guys are doing. So I want all the salespeople to sit at their desk and enter all their leads and put in their opportunities, their TAM, their SAM, their market penetration, all these different things, right? And then it creates this flashy dashboard. And that flashy dashboard is telling the CEO at a glance what his business is doing, supposedly. All right. Now, that may be helping the CEO or someone else, but it's not helping that sales guy get out there and sell more. And salespeople are highly motivated by selling and by making bonuses and getting commission. And when you take them off the street and put them in front of a computer, they don't like it, right? Same thing with small business. Small businesses don't care about dashboards. They don't care about reports. They don't care about all those things. What they really care about are sales, right? They want to sell more. They want to grow their small business. They want to automate the sales. And that's really what we focused on in the CRM. And what we really looked at is, how are people running their small business today? What are they doing? And then how can we automate that drudgery part? Okay. So instead of them having to take time away and do something for the CRM, I call it feeding the beast. We're taking the CRM and automating it and taking drudgery away from the sales guy or the small business person so that they can go out and sell more. Yeah. Right. So now we're automating the follow-up. We're automating the sales follow-up. So if they buy this product, it automatically promotes this product, puts them into a sales funnel. Right. So it's taking all that automation and making it so that they can sell more. And that was really our big push with the CRM, was how do we sell more without working more? And how do we get rid of some of the drudgery? Now, does a CRM solve everything? No, you still have to get out and make your sales. You still have to do the things that are necessary to close that deal. But a real simple example is, I go out and I have a sales meeting, right? And what's the first thing I'm going to do when I get back? I'm going to send them a follow-up and just say, thank you for the meeting.
Sure.
Well, why should I hand type that every single time, right? Why not just put that person into my funnel and boom, I thank them for the meeting. And then it tells them something else about our company in a follow-up. Maybe it has a snail mail that goes out that your inside person is doing for you. You don't have to do it. They're doing it for you. And then after that, maybe it's triggering a follow-up sales call for you or for your inside salesperson or whatever, to call that person and say, hey, I just wanted to follow up with you and see if you got that brochure, or if you see if that thing made sense, or would you be interested in, all those different things. Now, I just created that sales funnel just off the cuff real quickly, but that's just a typical thing. If you just look at what you already do and say, what do I have the ability to automate and get rid of that I'm doing repetitively, that is the perfect use for a CRM that automates your sales, not sitting down creating data for reports. Okay. And that's the big difference between a small business CRM like CloudNet 360 and a large business CRM like you will find with SAP or Oracle or any of those, Microsoft, whatever. They're different markets, different products. I'm sure General Motors would hate CloudNet 360 because it would not provide that CEO dashboard that they're hoping for. But anyone that's using that product as a small business will also hate it because it's not providing them with the sales automation they need to go out and sell more and grow their small business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And everything all linked together eliminates the Frankenstein effect.
Right. It all just flows from product sale into the CRM, into the follow-up, even surveys. We have a survey system that is triggered by how they answer things. So if they answer it one way, it puts them into this sales path, it puts them into that sales path. If they answer in totality, it does something else. If they, if they identify that they have, this problem or that problem, it just really automates the whole thing. So instead of having a survey monkey type of survey that basically gives you information, then you have to do something with it. This takes the information and does something with it automatically for you. So again, it's automating your tasks and takes away that drudgery and helps you sell more. I mean, that's really, at the end, that's really what we're driving at.
So in a sentence or two, how does that sell more faster?
Well, it's automating the whole thing. It's taking everything you're doing, automating at least a good chunk of it, and then pushing those sales out, automating your day, keeping it organized. It's really, it's really like having additional employees without the hassle of hiring additional employees.
Yep. That's what I was waiting for you to say. That's exactly how it is. I mean, I still, today, I guess at one point I had 14 people on staff, but today I have a team of 4 people, and I can do almost everything within the CloudNet 360 system myself that I would normally have to hire a VA to do. The announcement for this program, the announcement of the recording, I'll send it out. That's where most people watch something like this, is the recording once I put it on YouTube. Coming back to YouTube again, you're right. That's got to be one of the main things that's come out of this from a promotional standpoint, is make sure you're really focusing on YouTube. But that whole automation process we cleaned out my garage this weekend, and I was thinking about CloudNet 360. CloudNet 360 helps you clean out your garage.
Yeah.
If you've got a bunch of boxes and dust everywhere and your cars are outside because you use your garage as a storage area, clean that junk out of there. And that's what this system does. And, if not CloudNet 360, really the point is you've got to have some kind of
you got to have something
with a CRM that links to your shopping cart, that links to the customer base you have and prospect base you have, so that you can nurture that group, that list over time, and have a history of how long they've been with you and what kind of things they need and what kind of things they like. So you gotta have that. That's the key to being in business today, I believe, that we didn't have. I mean, we didn't have this kind of stuff all interlinked together 20, 30 years ago. It was just
right. It's all different pieces. Real quick, I'm just going to show my desktop. This is our project manager, and you see Soccer Pro V5, Soccer Pro V6.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show people that if you want to run a remote business, like you said, you had 4 people, okay? You need to have something like that as well. So you have the CRM for your external sales, but you need a project manager for your internal operation. And when we put things into a project manager, I mean, it's as simple of a project manager as you can ask for, because we use it every single day. So we have refined it, simplified it, made it super easy to use and maintain. It really makes a difference in your ability to work with remote people. If you are trying, and internal people, right? We have internal people and we deal with remote people. And even if you are doing something internally, and me, I will be on one topic, then off to the next topic. If I don't put it in the project manager, I forget it. Okay. You put it in the project manager, you take care of today's business, but also when you get ideas, you want to put those into, you saw how we had a V5 and a V6, because every idea you have doesn't need to be tackled today, right? But you don't want to lose it. So you put that into a project task for the next generation or the generation after that. And now you start to lay out your whole roadmap piece by piece, bit by bit, of where you're going in the future without getting overwhelmed with what you're doing today. Yeah. So that's a really important part with this whole, everyone's working remotely. How do you communicate with that team, right? How do you do it? You need a project manager as well as a CRM. So CRM for external automation and sales, project manager for internal automation and management of what you're doing.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it eliminates the need for something like extensive Basecamp or some other software for project management. I mean, those systems are so extravagant, and with your project manager, it's just easily customizable. So now you promised that you had one final tip, a surprise tip that you're going to give us, and I want you to give that. But first, I just want people to know how they can get in touch with you if they have questions about just even what we talked today or CloudNet 360 itself. Just how do people reach you?
Well, the easiest way is through cloudnet360.com. It's our phone number is 888-388-1815. That's 888-388-1815. And feel free to ask for me directly. I'm always happy to get on calls. I'm always happy to get on Zoom calls and, run through these things with people. Obviously Marty's always reining me in. You can tell I like to talk about this stuff. So if you call, I'm going to talk to you. Just make sure you have a cup of coffee and some time, because that's what's going to happen. So do you want me to tell the story now?
Go ahead. Tell the story,
Okay.
and make sure to give us that secret tip.
So I almost, buying a business isn't a bad thing to do. Biz buy sell is a good place to find a business, small business, whatever. It's not always a bad thing to do to buy one versus start one. They both have their pros and cons. So I almost bought this other business, and it was kind of a unique product. So I'm not going to get into what the product was, but it was in the fishing industry. So as I was going through with this guy, he had a patent on it. And I thought, well, that'd be great, because the value in this business is the product and the sales and also the patent. Okay. So I was going through and doing a patent search on this thing, and one thing led to another. And I discovered that there were actually some really awesome products, very similar to his, patented, but the patent had expired. Okay. People just stop paying for the patent, and it goes into, expiration. So I thought, well, what happens then? And then you do a little bit more research, and here I'm gonna put the qualifier. I'm not an attorney, don't listen to me in there. But once the patent is expired, it's fair game. It's open market. Anyone can take that product and they can make it. They can take the drawing and send it to someone and say, I want this product, and here's the spec. It's already blueprinted out. It's spec'd. Everything's there. You take it out to a contractor and say, that I want that. Okay. So now if you want to get into a market, if you want to create, let's say, a fishing supply store, okay, and you want to get products that are unique to you, solve a problem, say, let's see, how do I get this? Okay, well, go into the patent office. It's all online, and start looking at all the different products that have been previously patented, and you will get some amazingly good ideas from people that patented stuff years ago, sometimes decades ago, but they had no wherewithal, no ability to get the products onto the market. And typically you'll find that the older products are really awesome, but you remember 30 years ago, what did you do? You had to go off into retail stores, and that was extremely difficult. Okay, they couldn't just create the product and sell it online like you can do today. Right. So what you can do is get those products, you set up your own store, because now it's so cheap and easy to set up an online store that you can take those previously patented products, put them onto your online store, and bam, now you're selling. Okay.
So
that's my tip.
Idea. It's kind of like finding books that are open to the public. And
yeah, like open source books.
Take Think and Grow Rich and customize it for your own business and sell it for your own industry, and then sell it under your own label. Yeah, that's a great idea. I know what I'll be doing this afternoon, maybe.
Yeah, well, especially because all the drawings are there, all the specs, the drawings, the blueprints, everything you need to literally take it and send it to a subcontractor and say, build this for me.
Right. Well, that's great. Lots of great ideas today. So we're going to conclude our session for this week. Thank you so much, Gary, for all of your insights. We could have just stayed on for, another couple of hours. Maybe we'll have to do that sometime. I'm getting close to saying we need to have some kind of a group event, some kind of an online event that for a day long, and I can have all my guests back. We can go to more depth with things. So that would be awesome to do. But it's a great thanks to you for taking your time to be with us today. And make sure to contact Gary. Go to cloudnet360.com, whether it's just to get, find out more about him or the product itself. But I want to invite you to next week's program, where we're going to take a total flip in a different direction. We've kind of gone in this progression through the past, through today, and this is our 6th episode so far, and I'm kind of taking you through a little journey, so to speak, with all this. And next week, I'm going to have a professional speaker on the call. His name is Scott Friedman. He is one of the most popular keynoters in the world, let alone just in Colorado, but he's local here, and he has graciously agreed to come on and talk to us about customers. We're going to talk about customer engagement. Now, he's a humorist. He is hilarious. He gets on stage and he's so entertaining, and he brings a lot of, celebration is very important to him. Where your whole company should be celebrating the fact that you're able to provide what you do, and so we're going to get into that too. But that rubs off. I mean, when you have that kind of culture in your business, customers respond to it. So we're going to talk about customer engagement through celebration. So that's next week. Every week, be here for just 30 minutes where you're going to be around real people that are actually positive and going in a progressive direction with their businesses. And stay positive out there, everybody. This is Marty Dickinson with Gary J saying bye for now.
Bye, guys.